So today I'm back in another fun vehicle. This is the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N, a track-inspired car that brings all the fun that you could expect into a four-door sedan with a manual transmission and a lot of performance features that definitely would be desired for anybody that's looking for something that has a performance feel. So today, we're taking a peek at this, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. Pretty cool. Hey folks, welcome back to techgooch, and of course I'm in another vehicle today. I'm in the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. Now, I'm going to go at this review a little bit differently maybe than some of the other ones that are really focused on all the track aspects of this. This has a lot of really neat features to it, but I'm going to come at it from a more useful perspective, right? Of a daily driver or a vehicle that would be your main vehicle. That's how I'm looking at this, how I'm reviewing this. So yes, there are a lot of track-inspired features on this. Yes, there are a lot of things that you could do, take it out to the track or whatever, and do some really neat things on it. I'm looking at it from a day-to-day perspective, but at the same time, it is an extremely fun vehicle to drive. Now, this one has the manual transmission, which is what comes with stock. It's lovely to see vehicles that are still being produced with manual transmissions. They're great. They're just fun. I don't want to see them die, and it's just lovely to see it continue on in this specific fashion. Because this is a true six-speed, but with the Elantra N, with the extra features like rev control and everything like that, there's just a lot of neat things that you can do with this specific vehicle with a manual. So, that said, we're going to go into that. There's a lot of differences within the cockpit here, within the interior. The exterior of the vehicle obviously has some new styling on it. This 2024 version is refreshed, so I'm going to go from bumper to bumper and just kind of show you everything. I'm going to mention some things that I don't like, which I don't understand with a 2024 refresh, why it doesn't have it, down to the seats. The seats are very track inspired. They will keep you exactly where you are. The sidebars are actually pretty hefty on it, which does not make it the most comfortable seat to sit in long term. So, without further ado, let's jump outside, let's look at the outside, then we'll look at the inside, then we'll look at the engine and actually hear the performance of it, and yeah, we'll do our normal walk around, I guess, on this guy. So let's get started. Okay, so here we're going to do the walk around of the 2024 Elantra N. Now this is in Performance Blue, which is a $470 color option for this specific car. Kind of the staple color though that they use. But the nice thing is you have these red accents kind of all the way around that also tied in with the brake rotors. Now oversized or large rotors on this guy, 14.2 inches I think on the front. And it's like 12 inches in the rear. So adapted for cooling. It's definitely a nice heavy rotor on it. Now we have a nice spoiler on the back here, as well as a nice diffuser here down the bottom with our dual exhaust. Kind of screams performance. Of course, we have our N badge on the Elantra, but in all reality, you can hear that low rumble at the idle. It's just a really good looking car. They did a really good job with the stylings and everything with the new Elantra, and I really like the front. They did a really good job. Now let's jump onto the interior here. Make it a little quieter. Standard walk around, controls here, everything is about normal. We do have our all screen versions here for the driver's information cluster, as well as the entertainment, or I guess additional driver information cluster. You can use that for additional information with the N mode that it does have built into it. Steering wheel has some extra features as well, standard controls that you get on normal cars, and then we have our N feature modes as well as our rev setting. Now this is pretty neat. With this mode turned on, and you can see it indicated down there to the right. If I click the button, it'll go. Oh, I guess I have to go into the mode here. But you can see how I can turn it on and off depending on the mode that I'm in. And what that does is it does rev matching for shifting. So while this, this is the manual, if I have rev mode on, what happens is if I'm shifting up or down or whatever, as soon as I click it in, before I even let the clutch out, it'll actually match the revs for that gear so that you can smoothly shift right into that gear versus slowly releasing the clutch to get the engine to match the revs. It does it automatically with that rev match versus if I have it off, then you're just standard. And so the biggest notice, obviously shifting up is very smooth, fast shifting, fantastic. Shifting down is the other story. If you're used to shifting down to slow yourself down and using that engine as a brake, I find having rev mode off actually is more enjoyable. So it really comes down to, if you're on the track, that rev is more for track mode, just for really smooth, clean shifting. But you can use it anytime you really want to do it. And it's just a simple push the button to turn it on and off. Now, I also wanted to show you the standard driver information cluster. Every time you start the vehicle, it's going to start in the standard mode that you're used to from Hyundai, right? It's just a standard mode. Now, and if I hit the N button on the steering wheel, that's where we'll go into the more N mode, right? It'll also change depending on how you have this set up. So if I actually push this button and hold it for a second, it's going to bring up some custom settings that you can do with that button. Same thing as if I click this button, we can also see the setting that comes up. So standard or just custom to, and then you can go to settings and you can alter the engine, the steering, the suspension, rev matching, all those items. You can make it your own with your own custom N setting, custom 1 and custom 2. So that's all in the settings for each of those buttons. Pretty cool. And then of course we went over rev matching, radio controls. Now it is a full-blown standard radio that you'd normally get in basically any Hyundai vehicle that has the more modern systems in it. We do have N mode though, that has additional information. You can customize this screen as well with whatever information you want, but you can see exactly what gear you're in. So if I shift into 4 and I let the clutch out, it'll actually show that. But I'm not, obviously I was out of neutral. So that's the radio carryover. This does have Android Auto and CarPlay, but wired. Why it's wired for a refresh in 2024, I honestly cannot tell you. The 2025 Ioniq 5N has the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, which should be stock way before 2024, but here we are in 2024 with this specific car, and we still have wired CarPlay, which is just annoying. Standard climate controls, basic, nothing fancy there. USB-C for charging, USB port, standard USB-A for the connection. We have our 12 volt there. Qi charging, that does work really well, and it actually has a little guide here to make sure that you have less likely that your phone's going to slide out when you're in your track mode settings. We do have our drive mode selector here, and you can see that we can go back to that standard mode and go to the different drive modes. So those are our normal before we go back into N. Obviously 6-speed shifter with the lift up for reverse. Parking camera, we can bring up the rear camera at any time just by clicking that, as long as we're going slow enough. And then our parking sensors, handbrake, cup holders with a kind of different way. So you've seen cup holders that can vary size and depending on the size of your cup. They do give you this adapter to fit in there, but I find it more annoying than anything, because if I want to use 2 cups, where am I putting this? I don't have a whole lot of storage other than the armrest, but if I have stuff in there, this is going to go in the door, I guess. Yeah, neat that they included it, but I would remove that probably right away. We do have a glove box, and then like we were talking before, the seats. Very form-fitting seats. They are comfortable-ish, but for long trips, I find them to be not so comfortable. It really comes down to your body type. So if you have wider hips, it's not going to be the most comfortable seat in the world. All right, let's take a peek at the back seat. And for what this car is, huge amount of legroom. Now, I don't have the seat all the way back. I have it back enough for where I'm comfortable with it, but I have way more than enough rear legroom back here. 2 USB-C charge ports for the rear customers. And all in all, not a bad item. Now, one thing that is missing is cup holders. There's no armrest in the center. Your cup holders are in the door, really. And that's it. So, lacking in that regard. However, headroom, way more than enough. Plenty of headroom. So unless you're really tall, you're gonna fit in here just fine. Let's go in the back, pop that guy, and trunk. Now we will go through the trunk space with the old carry-on luggage item, but you can see there with the bars and everything, you're not gonna be passing through, right? You're not gonna get that feature. But that said, plenty of trunk space, plenty. And then underneath is where you have your run flat stuff or whatever. So no spare on this guy. Okay, so let's go ahead and check how many suitcases we can get in here. It's a little bit of a squeeze there. I wonder, look at this. I bet you could probably get a sixth one in here. It'd be a little bit more of a tight, but I think you could definitely get a sixth one in here. And you still have the kind of the cubbies around. So plenty of storage space. Let's pop the hood. There's our wonderful turbo engine. Battery right on top, easy access. I love that. I love it when they make it easy to get to the battery. To be honest, all in all, not a bad engine to work on for the most part, for most of the things. But yeah, there we go. I will say that hood is really heavy. So definitely not aluminum hood. So I wanted to demonstrate the rev. So if I'm downshifting, right, with it on, before I even put my foot on the pedal, it's already revved up. So I'm gonna put the clutch down. I'm gonna shift it down to second, but then I'm gonna release the clutch. So it's matching my the RPM based at that gear before I release the clutch and actually go into the gear. If I turn that off, I can slowly release the clutch and slow myself down using the engine as a brake. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to bring up. It is really cool for that they offer it. I love how smooth it shifts when you're shifting up, but going down, I'm usually the guy that likes to use the gears as an engine brake of sorts. And yeah, so that's that. Now, like I said, the same thing is in the opposite when I'm going up. It's just really smooth shifting. It just butter right in when you have that rev on. You don't have to worry about it kind of hesitating a little bit if it's not going to be quite matched yet. It does it all for you, so you have real clean, smooth, fast shifts with that rev match on. Now the Elantra N is obviously the peak of the Elantra line. The Elantra comes in, starts at 22,000, give or take. You do get 41 miles to the gallon with the Elantra. Then you can go into the Elantra Hybrid. I want to say that one starts 26, 27,000, 56 MPGs on the highway with that guy. And of course, that's highway MPG. This guy, the Elantra N, with all its 270 some horses, 280 some pound-feet of torque, this thing's a beast for what it is. Starts at 33.7. I want to say this one right here with the paint and destination comes in at just over 35. 29 miles per gallon on the highway, 21 in the city. So I think it's a 24 average. Not the most efficient, but at the same time, not bad at all. 29 miles to the gallon on the highway with a car that is all about the track mode capability, speed, performance. Sticks to the corners like no other. It does an amazing job on the corners. The Elantra N, it's a pretty cool car. I gotta give them credit. When I first got it, I've never actually driven an Elantra ever in any flavor. So it was an eye-opening experience. I kind of expected something that maybe wasn't as refined as this one is. Everything I like about this car, there's a lot I like, but it's the small things I dislike. And the small things are things that should be different anyway. Like, for instance, the radio. Why does it not have wireless CarPlay? Couldn't tell you. because most vehicles have it now. So, Hyundai, you got to get wireless CarPlay in every single car. It's a standard now. It's not something that you should be hoping for or paying extra for. It should be coming in. So, this one has the basic audio experience. You can get a Bose performance audio in it. This one does not have that. It's okay. It's nothing to speak highly about. It's not bad for the price point the car comes in at. But yeah, that's the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. It is a lot of fun. And if you're looking for a vehicle with a manual transmission that doesn't break the bank, I highly recommend checking out this guy, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. Thanks for watching to the end. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll catch you back here on techgooch for another future video review. I've got another one coming up next week. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon. Smooth shifting.